Welcome back on this beautiful first hour of Sunday night prime time. Guys, what a sultry, summer, sunny September evening on primetime Sunday nights on KOFO Radio 1220, 103.7, and listen live on KOFO.com. This show, the Make America Healthy Show, sponsored by Dr. Edward Fogarty III, is going to be also on podcast. Look up KOFO.com, look at the tab for podcasts, and look up Maha, Make America Healthy Again. John Jacobson, your host. Sean Torres at the controls of the engineering deck. Our special in-studio guests, Brock Chapman, Sports Information Director, grad assistant at Ottawa University, Maddie Hughes, nurse, and our Sydney Sweeney doppelganger here, great young conservative American girl of Irish descent, college grad, and a friend of Mr. Chapman's. Guys, this is going to be an excellent show tonight. We've got on not only our recurring friend, Dr. David Hartsich, but Joseph Casarino, our other recurring friend, Dr. David Hartsich. This guy, Dr. David Hartsich, the Honorable Dr. David Hartsich, as he served as an Iowa State Senator in the Iowa Legislature. He's also a CPA, but is big bona fides medical doctor, one of the great clinicians in the field utilizing hyperbaric therapy and glutathione precursors that Joe Casarino has talked about. Joe here with us tonight, the distributor for Dr. Albert B. Crum Jr. and the ProImmune Formulation 200, as well as his consultant. Guys, we need to hammer this home, but the big thing tonight is going to be this legal environment, both in the courts and in our legislative branches, of these evildoers from big medicine, big pharma, big hospitals, big academic healthcare, big government that are trying to impede the health of Americans as great men of law and science, as Robert Kennedy and his aides are trying to cut through the greed and the lies and the malice of medical establishment that literally has been killing us for decades, and actually punishing physicians that had the best cure protocols during COVID, when the only allowed protocols were the ruinous protocols that were causing death and destruction. Dr. Hartsich, welcome back to the show. All you got rewarded for curing everybody who had COVID outside of death by remdesivir and ventilator, all you got threatened with was legal hassles from the Iowa Board of Pharmacy and Medicine. Welcome back to the show, Dr. Hartsich.
It's great being here, John. And that's true, but it wasn't just me. It was 17 other doctors as well.
These Kansas City folks might not believe this. We got a great senator here, Roger Marshall, who's fighting alongside Bobby Kennedy. And Doc, we got people listening in tonight from all of the area here, the East Central Plains of Kansas, where we reign as the top country format, where we reign as the home and away voice of the Kansas City Royals and the Ottawa Braves. And people are listening to us in Franklin and Johnson and Douglas and Anderson and Lynn and Miami counties, in the capital of Topeka, in Lawrence, where we've got Rock Chalk Jayhawk and all those great students, in Baldwin City, where Baker University is, here in Ottawa, where Ottawa University is, in Princeton and Paola, in Richmond, and Osawatomie, and Osage City, and Linden, and Gardner, and Garnett City. Doc, you got a big megaphone tonight. We got to raise the clarion bell. What is going on here? Talk to us.
Well, I think what has happened is that historically, doctors sit in the way of the pharmaceutical industry and the patient. The doctor talked with the patient and then decided whether they were going to use a drug or not use a drug. And I think the pharmaceutical industry has realized that doctors were an impediment to their sales, and so they managed to work out a system where drugs were sold directly to patients without any intermediary like the doctor.
Exactly.
So the result is, I believe now, the doctor is the enemy of pharmaceutical company, and they would rather see no doctors at all.
It was evil during COVID that you had pharmacists literally countermanding the valid prescription orders filled by MDs appropriately for the treatment of COVID. And in some cases, people died because of it, doctor. People died because of pharmacist's ego and pomposity.
I think you talk about it as if it's past tense, but my case involves current tense because pharmacists are still not filling prescriptions, valid legal prescriptions, doctors, for to treat COVID.
Important point, guys. Yeah, this is still going on. This is still not been remedied.
Yeah, and I think that's a big problem. Everybody thinks that the pandemic is over, and it's not.
Before we go to Joe Castle, before we go to Joe for just a second, Doc, will you just show a tale of two cities, rather a tale of two states, the difference in the curative processes during COVID between the two states of Nebraska and Iowa? For our Kansas listeners down here, it might be a great illustration. Can you do that in about a minute or two? Then we'll kick it over to Castle.
Yeah, I think I can do it very simply. During the pandemic, the Attorney General of Nebraska defended the right of doctors to treat with off-label drugs to treat COVID. And contrary to that, here in Iowa, our Attorney General is defending the right of the boards to prevent doctors from using off-label drugs.
And that was Tom Miller. That was Tom Miller initially during COVID in Iowa, who was the Attorney General.
Yes, but I think mostly by the time 2020 came around, and it was mostly Brennan Burke.
And then the good Attorney General, the superb Attorney General, was Doug Peterson in Nebraska, who took a different path. Back to you, Doctor. I'll let you continue the story.
Yeah. And the big difference is that in Iowa, our case fatality rate was 37% higher in Iowa. In other words, if you caught COVID, you were 37% more likely to die here in Iowa compared to Nebraska. And to me, that shows it is the policy. These are policy preventable tests. Had Iowa just did what Nebraska did, we probably would have saved another 2,600.
Doctor, and they went after you, and you were curing everybody, Doctor. How can this be?
Well, the funny thing is, I had petitioned the Iowa Board of Medicine.
And they went after you and about another dozen and a half Iowa doctors who were curing everybody instead of doing the death by protocol in the hospital. Go ahead, Doctor.
Yeah, it was not only were they going after us, they were going after us for something that I already petitioned them over, and they already agreed to.
Wow.
They had already agreed in what was called the revised joint statement that it was okay to use off-label drugs to treat COVID. But instead, they tried to go after all of those people that used it, and then plus, they refused to send out the very same statement that they themselves approved. Go figure.
Amazing.
This is largely what my case is about, is whether the Board of Medicine has to send out their own statement they approved.
Guys, listen to the Make America Healthy show, sponsored by Dr. Edward F. Fogarty. Normally would be joining us, but dealing with a family funeral this evening, and best to Dr. Fogarty's family with the passing of a beloved member from among his uncle's family there. Joe Casarino, we've talked about this. You've got a perspective as somebody that knows the science of what does work, CARES award-winning science that Dr. Fogarty has introduced, that is being implemented on the ground in clinics by Dr. Hartsuch. You are representing Dr. Albert B. Crum, who's got his own innovation. Your take this week on the literally diabolical and demonic evil assault against Robert F. Kennedy Jr., who is right on the science, he is right on the law, he is doing the correct thing to root out the corruption at all levels of our federal government, this Leviathan, this 10-headed hydra that is comprised of these governmental agencies, our medical schools, our pharmaceutical companies, our hospitals, even our employers that were complicit in forcing these myrnas for people to retain employment, feed their families, often to the detriment of their own health. Weigh in with us here, Joe.
Well, first I want to say hello to my good friend, Dr. David Hartsuch. Hello, David. Nice to hear you on the show today. And is Brock and Maddie with us on this show?
They are. Sure. Say hey, Maddie. Say hey, Brock.
We're here.
Just want to give a shout out to my friends that, you know, when I come down to Kansas and I onboard Constantino's markets, and their pharmacies with the ProMune. Brock and Maddie are going to help me educate the customers of the stores and the community.
Well, and Joe, Maddie's a nurse. Joe, Maddie's a nurse. Maddie, how is it that all of you young people haven't been brainwashed? The media has dominated this discussion. They were censoring me when I was showing studies on Facebook at the beginning of COVID about the efficacy of things like ivermectin, hydroxychloroquine, and I was getting censored. How have you guys not been brainwashed?
Yeah.
There's this remnant.
It's so interesting too, because I know so many people who were also forced to get the COVID shot, and still I think they've gotten COVID like 3 times ever since getting that shot. And it's just like there's not enough scientific data for it, and it was so rushed. And it's like, where's the freedom of speech with all that? Like, I just never understood that. And so, I just know so many people where it doesn't work for them, that still comes back. It really doesn't stop anything. And it's actually kind of interesting with the ProMune and everything. I recently was kind of a little under the weather, and then that's when I actually just started taking ProMune. I noticed a big difference in how fast I got over the sickness and everything. Like, it was just way better than normally.
Same for me,
yeah.
guys. Same for me.
Well, Maddie, I want to tell you something. You don't know this yet, but as the distributor of ProMune, I own the company, thebestimmunesupport.com. That's the distribution company for ProMune. What you don't know is I personally guarantee it, okay? So now when your friends and family and coworkers and everybody and the audience of this show and everybody starts coming to Constantino's and buying the ProMune from them, or even if they bought it on my website, thebestimmunesupport.com, none of that matters. What matters is I guarantee it. I'm going to tell you why. It's an all-natural formula. It's a scientific breakthrough. But anybody that buys ProMune and takes 2 scoops of ProMune, 1 in the morning, 1 at night consistently, let me repeat that, consistently, morning, night, 1 scoop, I guarantee that if everybody in the family has COVID and they're taking those 2 scoops, they will not get COVID. Now, how do I know that? Because I know the science of this all-natural antiviral based on the Georgia State Virology Lab research, based on how Dr. Edward Ted Fogarty, MD, brought this into the Federal CARES Act as a COVID countermeasure, the all-natural COVID countermeasure in 2020 to stop or cure COVID. I'm not on this show. I can't make any claims. I'm not a doctor or scientist. I am not saying ProMune will treat, cure, or prevent anything. I cannot make that claim because I'm not a doctor. What I'm saying is I will guarantee anybody buying the jar and taking that product that if they are subject to anybody that's coughing on them or in the household with COVID, that they will not get it. And if they do, I will gladly refund them the money, because it's not going to happen, because we already know the science of why this all-natural formula is an all-natural antiviral to stop viruses. We understand it. Now get back to Bobby Kennedy being beaten up this week by the senators. See, they're evil. And I'll tell you why they're evil. Because they're not addressing anything about nature or God. They are so hell-bent on drilling in on stop blaming Big Pharma. Stop saying Big Pharma's corrupt. Stop saying we're corrupt. Stop saying the science is not there. And they're focusing just on Big Pharma to protect Big Pharma, as though Big Pharma is the savior. Guess what? It isn't, and everybody knows it, okay? People that are sick, your relatives, your grandparents, your friends, your family members that are sick, okay, that are on medications, they all know that they've got side effects and that they don't get better. They're masking the symptoms. That's what drugs do. I don't know any drug that treats anything. None of them do. Dr. Hartsich, am I wrong?
Yeah, let's go to David. David, give us your take, because you served in the legislature in the Iowa Senate. What happened this week in D.C.? And Doc, talk about that juxtaposed with the progress you've made clinically. It's just jarring, that dichotomy. Go.
Well, I think it's interesting that here we have Bernie Sanders defending the AMA and calling it an organization that represents doctors. And the reality of it is, a very small portion of the revenue of the AMA comes from doctor membership at all. In fact, most doctors don't belong to the AMA. That's just the way it is. Instead, you have the government giving royalty rights to the AMA for the CPT codes. CPT codes were owned by the AMA, and they're necessary for billing. So every time there's a bill sent to an insurance company, it uses a code and the result by the AMA, and the result is that the AMA gets some money from every transaction, and the result is that they are an organization that does not represent doctors. And to call itself, yeah, go ahead.
Oh, I didn't mean to cut you off. I'm sorry, David. I thought you were finished. I apologize. I just want to say, because this is free speech and this is a radio show, it's just my opinion. But I am of the opinion that all these entities, from the American Pediatric Association to the AMA to all these companies, entities, they're all funded by Big Pharma. Will you give me a break?
This
Please,
is my opinion.
Somebody give me a break.
This is my opinion too, Joe, and I haven't weighed in and criticized the insurance companies, but everybody needs to do soul searching here. And what's jarring to me is that there are remedies out there that are not Big Pharma remedies that are being quashed or prevented from getting in the mainstream. Doctor, just tell one or two anecdotes of how your hyperbaric therapy is changing people's lives, what guys like Dr. Fogarty have done that you're implementing. And Fogarty, he's science. He's got a federal CARES grant. What he has talked about works. You're proving it. Talk a little bit about that, Doctor. We got a couple minutes left here.
Well, I think, first of all, with regard to COVID, Ted Fogarty treated patients with hyperbarics very successfully with COVID. And it's true of all antibiotics, all viral infections. And I've done this a number of times, not with COVID, but other viral infections very similar. Put the patient in the hyperbaric treatment, when they come out, they're much better, and over the next day or so, they get much better. It's interesting. The hyperbarics is very good at pain relief. We're at a point where we're anti-narcotic, and so a lot of people out there have pain, but they cannot get it treated. Hyperbarics provides great analgesia in a lot of different ways. I had an 85-year-old man who fell 8 feet off the ladder, and he ended up with 8 rib fractures on the left side. And when he came into my office, he was on 4 liters of nasal cannula of oxygen, and he wasn't breathing very well. His oxygen saturation was 92%. But when he came out of the chamber, his pulse ox was 96%. That was only on 1.5 liters.
Wow.
So he was able to cut back his oxygen. He had much better analgesia and much better pain relief. So I think it's a great pain reliever. It's great for migraine headaches. I have swelling of all types, inflammation, etc. I think I would not be doing it because I've been an ER physician for 25 years, and so it would be very reason. When I put it this way, the only reason I do what I'm doing with the hyperbarics is that it's much better than anything I've seen.
Brock Chapman.
I want to say...
I'll come back. I'll let you close out here, Joe. But Brock Chapman, my question goes to you, too. This brainwashing that's been going on throughout the media, throughout the medical industrial complex, you're not falling for it either. I'm so encouraged. Dr. Hartsuch saw journalism students from the University of Iowa that were open to what we were saying up there at the Iowa Broadcast News Association convention, where we won all those awards, including for our healthcare coverage. But Brock, why didn't you swallow the party line? What makes you independent and open to what RFK Jr. and guys like Hartsuch and Fogarty and Casarino and I'm all about?
Yeah, so just going back again to kind of about my background story, the reason why I came to Kansas, not just the reason why I came to Kansas, but the reason why I stayed. I'm from California. That should say enough about me. I was just tired of all the political drama. I was just an 18-year-old kid, 19-year-old kid coming to Kansas for college, trying to wrestle, get my scholarship, get my degree in marketing and finance, a double major, and now I'm in my MBA right now. But I didn't want to go back to California because my parents said it's not good to come back financially. It's too expensive. $3,000 to $5,000 a month for an apartment for a studio. That's crazy. And out here in Kansas, I get a 2-bedroom with a living room and a kitchen for $1,200. I mean, it is Kansas, so it is a little cheaper. But I don't want to say this may sound bad, but I just wasn't raised weak. Honestly, I was raised to be a man and to stand up for what I believe in. And if you were at Ottawa the last 4 or 5 years, you would see why I didn't fall for the BS and the drama, because my freshman year of college was when all the BLM stuff was going on. When all the political correct stuff was going on. COVID was happening, elections were happening, stuff like that. And I was called a racist my freshman year of college, and it wasn't fun. The 6 months after that, everyone was messing with me, and so I just kind of was like a lone wolf, and I just said, screw everybody, honestly. And yeah, I mean, social media does a lot of damage, but like, I just want to be a part of something that's gonna actually, that there's a purpose behind it, and this show, this product, what we do in our daily lives, what we just think about, and our actions, it's just like the red wave, like we talked about a few weeks ago, just about like not catering towards to weak people, you know. Yeah, there's gonna be people out there, but just don't cater to people that don't want what you want. Like, if I want to do something,
Brock, you somehow end up with the most beautiful girl on campus, and you're the most beloved figure on campus. You're Mr. Athletic Department. You are at every event setting up. You're the major domo for the whole athletic director leadership staff, which are African Americans. They love you. You are beloved by every one of the teams of the 36 men's and women's teams. You're BMOC, you're big men on campus, and you have been vindicated, much like the president and RFK Jr. and Hartsich and Fogarty and Casarino. You have been vindicated by being tough.
Yeah, I mean, even like just thinking about presidents and stuff like that. The president of our school a few years ago, Dr. Reggie Wanika, he's from Zimbabwe, Africa, and he's a black man, and he actually saved my college career on Ottawa. I was in a fraternity, and they were trying to kick me out and get me basically kicked out of school, out of athletics and stuff like that, and he saved my butt. And I mean,
he's a good man. He's a good man.
I didn't want to say I did not do anything illegal or wrong or harmful to anybody else. And they saw it on video. I didn't do anything, but it just...
Yeah, you were totally innocent.
The fact of it is just like, I'm just tired of people playing the victim. Sometimes, you know, I can't lie, I sometimes play the victim, and I'm not happy with what's going on in my life, but that's when I tie up my bootstraps, pull it up, and I put that baseball cap on, and I get out there, and I put the work in, and even if I don't get sleep, even if I don't feel good, I still get it done. That's what I think that our nation needs to get back into, is just like Pete Hegseth said, we need to get back to the warrior ethos, that just warrior mindset, and just like, don't cater and don't give up, and don't let people get the better of you. You know, you do what's right, and the good karma will come to you.
Wow, if I had another daughter, I'd want Brock to go out with her, but Brock's already taken. Joe and Dr. Hartsich, I'll let you close out the show. What a powerful testimony that is. There is help on the way and hope on the way, isn't there, Joe?
I just want to say to Brock, ditto, because what he just said is the blueprint of success. As an older man, when I was his age, I thought the same way. I stepped into my success by applying every principle of what he just said. You are a champion. You are a warrior. You are successful. You are everything. You are the creator. Stick with God. Stick with Jesus. Stick with nature, Brock, and just use your inner compass of God consciousness and Christ consciousness. You are going to be such a success, my friend. You have no clue what is coming for you. This is how.
Thank you.
This is how success is born. I've always been a success. Nothing I do is about money, although it always comes to me, because that's what happens when you have the principles that you just mentioned. Just one last thing I want to say to Dr. Hartsich's point about hyperbaric oxygen therapy. I concur with everything he says, and I just wanted the audience to know that the only thing that mimics hyperbaric oxygen therapy or air therapy is ProMune Immune Formulation 200 that does the same thing that HBOT does. It increases glutathione levels inside the cells, all naturally, endogenously, when you increase your oxygen. We just had this conversation on the ProMune show. Every breath you take, you're increasing your oxygen inside the cell. Of course, you do that very well with hyperbaric therapy. Like I just said on the last show, everybody should be taking 1 hour of hyperbaric therapy a day. But if you can't, at least multi-dose the ProMune to increase the oxygen inside the cells and to reduce your oxidative stress. Do you concur, Dr. Hartsich?
Brock had a quick rejoinder, and then I'll have Hartsich close out the show here. Go ahead, Brock.
One last thing to say. Sorry to cut you guys off and take the flame, but we were talking earlier during our break, just kind of having like that 5-10 minute conversation about me taking the ProMune, just starting taking it last month or two, And like I said, I ran out of supply, so I'm getting more obviously in stock. It's coming in the mail, but I did like a week or two trial recently. I'm still on the trial, and I felt the difference from taking ProImmune. Obviously, it works. You know, you take it and it works. But I'm just a nobody, you know, in Ottawa, Kansas. So if you're out there listening, it's legit. It's the real deal. I took it. I felt great. You know, I'm at 38,000 pull-ups right now, working out hard. My body feels great. My mental,
Cognition.
I just feel great all around. And you know, it's just when I stop taking it, I can just feel my mind just like not like thinking clearly. You know, I can not thinking clearly. My body not being able to, you know, react fast enough. Really, and sleep also. My sleep has just been kind of messed up.
That's what I have too. We're coming up on a close time deadline here. Dr. Hartsich, 2 minutes. Wrap it up for us, buddy.
Well, I think first of all, I'd like to talk about a little bit about RFK, and he's under pressure from the Congress unnecessarily because I think he's doing a great job really focusing on the health of Americans. ProImmune, by the way, is an essential complement to what we're doing with hyperbarics because the antioxidants, the reduction of antioxidant stress is what breaks down our body and prevents it from. When you have the oxidative stress under control, the body can heal itself. That's what ProImmune does. That is what the hyperbarics does. I can only say that, you know, hats off to Maddie and what she does as a nurse, and she's fighting the fight too.
It's a trooper.
And yes, yeah, there's so much at work which does not care at all about humanity at all. And I think RFK is fighting the fight for us, and I wish him well.
Well said. Joe, you want to close it out with one last 30-second comment here?
Well, thank you, Dr. Hartsich, for confirming everything I said about the ProImmune and you too, Brock. Anyone that wants to read the science or watch some of these recorded shows from KOFO or watch some of the podcasts or read the testimonials, the website is thebestimmunesupport.com. I'll repeat that, thebestimmunesupport.com. Everything that you need to optimize your cellular health designed by nature and God. That's what ProImmune is. It's an all-natural scientific breakthrough. It's a #1 seller everywhere. It is sold across America. And Dr. Hartsich, just so you know this, Dr. Dietrich Klinghardt from the Sophia Institute and the Klinghardt Institute is now officially recommending ProImmune as well. That's another big deal. We have many top doctors recommending ProImmune, but for Dr. Klinghardt to do it from the Klinghardt Institute in Germany and the Sophia Institute in the state of Washington, wow. Doctors love this, pharmacies love it, and we're bringing it all over Kansas soon. God bless you, everyone. Thank you so much for the opportunity to join you all today.
Guys, John Jacobson here, and our best to Dr. Fogarty on the passing of his favorite uncle, James P. Jim Citrano. He'll rejoin us next week. In the meantime, for Dr. Hartsich, for Joe Castrino, for my great engineer, Sean Torres, for Maddie Hughes, the lovely and gracious co-ed and nurse, and for Brock Chapman, BMOC, Sports Information Czar, this is John Jacobson saying catch the podcast, KOFO.com, click on podcasts, click on Maha, Make America Healthy Again. Until we meet again, be safe, be strong, be good, be smart, love Jesus Christ, and God bless us, everyone. Till we meet again, bye-bye.